Hey everyone and welcome back to the Sports Zection. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend so far. So we've got a couple of topics to cover in this video, some ridiculous reports, and then some others, let's say, okay ones, some confirmations, and some, well, advanced talks with some players, some of ours, some of the potential future players as well. Before doing so, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, hit all the buttons, would really appreciate that. We're very close to reach 3,000 subscribers. We're going to try and reach 10,000 by the end of the year. Let's see if that's possible. It's only possible if I get your support. Anyways, let's start off with topic number one here, and that's apparently that Chelsea have been offered Jadon Sancho. You know my thoughts on this. I've been calling for this transfer for quite a while. I know Jadon Sancho, Manchester United, it didn't work out. But if you watched him at Dortmund before United and even now on loan, there's still a quality player there. And here apparently Team Talk's report, again, Team Talk, I don't know how reputable they really are. Maybe it's like 90 minutes, maybe it's like the other ones. I don't know. But they reported that United values the winger at £40 million, almost half of the fee they paid for Borussia Dortmund. So, I mean, £40 million for someone that could definitely help on the left side, right? We now only have Sterling and Mudryk. £40 million could be a good option. I mean, I've seen him perform at Dortmund for the last 6 months extremely well. Why not? Previously said some good words about Chelsea. I believe he was a Chelsea fan when he was little, Lampard, Drogba fan. So yeah, maybe it's time to bring him home. They also said that United are open for a loan move with an obligation to buy. So, okay, if we're not, let's say, sure about him, we can still take him on loan. If he performs very well, then we just buy him. Of course, the question here is what's the, let's say, situation with regards to his wages? Because right now, our transfer strategy is pretty simple. We have no issues paying a big amount when it comes to the transfer fee, but we do not want to pay huge wages for certain players, actually for all players. Why is that? Well, because wages sometimes turn out to be way more expensive, right? If you pay for one player 60, 70 million, but it's an 8-year contract and you can amortize this for 8 years, 6 years, whatever, but you have to pay that guy 200,000 a week, you can understand why we're going for less wages, but potentially higher transfer fees. Or maybe a deal where performance-based, right? If you perform very well, if you win trophies, if you score a certain amount of goals, if you make a certain amount of assists, you will get a one-time bonus. It makes sense. At the end of the day, it makes sense. Now, with regards to this Sancho news, I don't know. I don't know how advanced advanced. I don't think they're advanced at all, but it's always a good option in my opinion. Then I would already tackle the, in my opinion, news that just doesn't make much sense for me. So Jack Rosser here, breaking news. Chelsea have discussed including Nicolas Jackson as part of any deal for Newcastle Alexander Isak. I don't think that's going to happen. One, because Newcastle value Isak at over 100 million. Second of all, I don't see us offering Nicolas Jackson to anyone, to be honest. So I don't see that happening. I also said various times on X, I don't think Isak is worth 100 million. Some people value him extremely high. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong. Injury prone-ish, but not really, let's be honest. Still scores a lot of goals, but 100 million? No thank you. Also, there were some reports with regards to Antony Gordon and Liverpool, not Chelsea, although I would love to see him at Chelsea. Frank Lampard wanted to see him at Chelsea. He would have been the solution to the Mudryk and Sterling issue. But okay, now I don't really think that Newcastle will sell Gordon or Isak because of this deal, because of the Yankuba Minte deal valued at around 35 million pounds. Apparently, he's going to Brighton. Again, might be these PSR rules, things, games that are going on, but I think that raising that amount of money should make them safe and should not force them to sell either Gordon or Isak this summer. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. And you know who I want us to go for if we're looking for a striker. That's Jonathan David from Lille, valued at around 25 million. No brainer. Still young, experienced, goal scoring player, barely injured. 25 million, no brainer for me. But of course, that's just me. I always want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I have a feeling that the discussions in the comment sections on YouTube are way more respectful than those on X, Twitter. That's maybe because of the type of people that roam the platforms. But okay, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Moving on to a player we've talked about, I think, a day or two ago, and that's Archie Gray from Leeds. So apparently Brentford have reached verbal agreement with Leeds United over Gray. They're going to pay around £35 million for the player. So he's 18 years old. We've talked about him, extremely versatile, very, very young, but very, very talented. £35 million could look like a very, very expensive deal right now, but he's 18 years old. If he's really going to develop, I think he can develop quite well at Brentford, but if he can really show what the fuss is all about, what the hype is all about in the Premier League, I think £35 million would look like peanuts in the years to come. Of course, it depends what happens with Brentford, because if Brentford, just like Leicester, right, suddenly relegate, then maybe 35 million, then maybe they would sell him for 50 or 40 or whatever, or maybe in a couple of years, he just doesn't want to extend his contract. He's going to run the contract down, and then there's only 1 year left, and then they will be forced to sell him at around the same price or maybe just at a small premium. Could happen. That's best case scenario for the acquiring club, worst case scenario for Brentford. But overall, good transfer for both sides. Lastly here, and that's with Dewsbury-Hall. So apparently, according to Fabrizio, talks between Chelsea and Leicester City for Dewsbury-Hall are still ongoing tonight. Clubs negotiating to understand if they can agree on fee and structure of deal, with Chelsea pushing for at least one player included. Dewsbury-Hall already gave green light, now waiting. And apparently this is a signing from the recruitment department, but Enzo Maresca has given the green light to go after him. Makes sense. Extremely crucial player for Enzo Maresca's Leicester City last year. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Now, again, remains to be seen how the deal will be structured. How much are we paying for him? What player are we including? It would make sense to include Casadei. I mean, to include a midfielder that we will not be using anytime soon. That would make sense. Then again, we're going to see. I don't know when that deal should get done. If we want that deal to get done before the deadline of June 30, well, July 1st, or if we don't mind to make that deal in July. So that will depend on how rushed we really are and how fast these negotiations will go. But overall, I think it makes sense to sign him. Some people are saying we don't need more midfielders. Yes, we have plenty of midfielders. That is true. Again, topic of the next video, you're going to understand why we're doing these types of things. Yes, we have a lot of midfielders, but let's be honest, not a lot of our midfielders right now can produce the goods. We cannot rely on 90% of the midfielders that we have right now, because a lot of them are young, have been always injured, and it's probably going to be their first, second full season in the Premier League. Plus we have plenty of competition next year. League Cup, FA Cup, European, Club World Cup, Premier League. There will be plenty of games. But again, are we willing to go into next season and relying on players that have been injured quite a lot, that are yet to show us their qualities? I don't think so. I think signing a 25-year-old that had his best season last season, yes, in the Championship, fine. But again, football is pretty simple. Plus, Leicester, it's a Premier League team that played in the Championship. Let's be honest. He also knows the coach knows him. He's really not a bad player, and he could definitely give us a little bit more when it comes to the attacking side of the midfield. Because last season, if it weren't for Cole Palmer, who else would have assisted or scored goals? That's the problem with us when you play with Enzo, with Caicedo, even with Conor Gallagher, right? It's already 3 midfielders, and even before, Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, that's 3 midfielders that don't really contribute that much when it comes to the goal-scoring aspect of things. When it comes to the defensive side, no problem. When it comes to assisting, okay, it's a little bit better. But remember the times where you could rely on your midfielders to score a lot of goals. Of course, we were extremely, I won't say lucky, but spoiled when we had the likes of Frank Lampard at Chelsea. But yeah, we actually need to go back to finding goal-scoring midfielders and not field 3 midfielders or 4 midfielders that combined might have 10 to 12 goals throughout the season. I'm sorry, that's just not possible. And so to me, this one makes sense. I don't think he's a Kevin De Bruyne type of signing, but I do think that he will add something to the team instantly. And so overall, that's about it for me in this video. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, hit all the buttons, notification on so you don't miss any episode. I really appreciate all the support. The next video will be about Todd Boehly, the Dodgers, Chelsea, and why I think that yes, we should be going through short-term pain for long-term gains as football fans of Chelsea. And I will show you what happened with the Dodgers when Todd Boehly invested in that club. You will see it's quite astonishing. So stay tuned for that. Have a nice weekend, and I see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.